Welcome everybody, Chomsky Writes. Today I am bringing you this little intro and then I'm going to jump straight into the video in a few seconds. I had the luck of sitting down with an author, Elena Carter, the other day. I did a few of these last year and I really enjoyed them, just talking to other authors, both before the interview and during the interview as well. It helped me, and hopefully it can help some of you out there if you're just getting into the right business or you're stuck, you're not sure where to start. Maybe just a bit of advice sometimes can help. So this is their story, and I hope you enjoy the video. I've got a couple more videos coming up in the next few weeks, trying to do some more videos as well as just shorts, etc. So hopefully you'll enjoy the content. There's not going to be an ending to it, so the end of the interview is the end of the video. So just follow the introduce now. So enjoy this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. So today I have the pleasure of talking to Elena Carter, which I probably got wrong, even though we just discussed it 2 seconds ago. So welcome to the channel, Elena. I'm very excited. I've not done an author interview now for about 10 months, and there was a few people that follow the channel that really enjoyed it last time, whether they were beginner writers or just in general watching the show, their readers. They sort of like to get an idea. It helps them pick brains and maybe helps them get started with getting into the writing industry. So you've got a few books out now. So before we talk about them, would you like to just tell everyone how you got into writing, and have you always dreamed of being a writer? Or was it just something that just sort of happened as you got a bit older, or was it something that you wanted to do from a child?
I have always dreamed of being a writer since as long as I can remember myself. Well, since I started reading basically when I was a kid, but I don't know, just life just kind of sent me in a very different direction, or like rather a bunch of them, different directions. And I finally started writing only 3 years ago when I was 40. And I had my second son, and he was about 6 months old. And I decided to have it a go. Was encouraged by my husband, who's a writer himself. He's a screenwriter. And when I shared a few times that I really wanted to give it a try, but I don't know, I guess maybe I was scared. I had some self-doubts, some worries about that, like what if I can't? He kept encouraging me. Said, you'll never know unless you try. And I don't know, somehow his belief in me was, I think, that the last thing that actually pushed me. And I was like, okay, I have this idea. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to start writing it. So I did. And now 3 years later, I have 3 books out, and no intentions of stopping whatsoever. So yeah, I'm really happy. I'm really happy that I found myself, because when I started writing that book, it just felt so right. It felt like I was in the right place, I was doing the right thing, I was doing what I was meant to be doing.
And did you find it easier? As you said that you had your second child was very small. Did you find it easier, I don't know, writing with more experience? You said you started writing at the age of 40, eventually having to want to do it pretty much all of your life. Did you find that because you have more life experience, through being a parent, through being in the workplace, etc., did you find that you have more experiences to draw from, which made it easier to be creative? Or was it just all stuff you thought of in your head regardless, and you just went with it? I know it's a fantasy, so it's kind of not like real life, but a lot of the things I write about are stories or twists on stories that I've heard from people in the past, not people dying. Just want to point that out. There's some gruesome stuff in my books, but there are a lot of things that are little antidotes, personalities, little idiosyncrasies that come from real people that I just put into the books under false characters and made up names, etc. So did you find that having all this life experience and start writing at a slightly older age, it gave you more to write with?
That's a very interesting question, actually. I usually put it this way. When I say that I started writing pretty late, yeah, and when I encourage other people who might think that, oh, it's too late, I'm too old, it's too late to start. And I always say that it's never too late, yeah, and you're never too old. And I always stress that I don't regret. I don't regret all those missed years when I didn't write, because maybe I needed to be that certain version of me. Just like you said, you go through certain life twists, you get certain life experience. It's not necessarily that you put your experience directly into your books, into your writing, but it shapes you. Your life experience kind of shapes you as a personality, as a creator of those worlds. And it definitely, directly or indirectly, it definitely will affect the writing, I'm sure.
Also, talking about the writing, then, your third book has just come out in the series that you're writing. It came out, was it the end of May? It came out, so it's been out a little while now. It's like picking your favorite child, maybe, if I asked you this, but do you have a favorite out of the books that you've released so far? Do you sort of prefer one story over the other? I mean, they're all great, but if you had to pick one, which one would you say is your personal favorite? The first one because it was your debut, or the new one because you're building into becoming a better writer and getting more experience? I know it's putting you on the spot. No one likes to choose a favorite, not in public anyway. But what would you say is your favorite book so far? Which one is your favorite story?
You're right. It is like picking a favorite child, which is absolutely impossible. And I am a mom of two, so yeah, it's impossible. Yeah.
I'm giving you more choices here. You've only got to pick between two children. Now you've got to pick between three books.
I am tempted to say that the third one is my favorite. And also, since I'm getting some feedback from my readers now, this is also what I'm hearing from my readers. People who read the first two books, and they've loved the first two books, but I keep hearing from them that this one is that's it. That's the best one so far. I'm not sure what exactly it is that resonated with the readers. Maybe it's the closure, because it's the final part of the trilogy, and everything kind of gets wrapped up, at the end, and everybody gets their closure, their ending, and my readers were pretty satisfied with that. And maybe it is the writing style, because it changed. Of course, definitely, I grew as a writer throughout writing this trilogy, and I also heard that from my readers, because they see how much the writing style had changed. And also, the third book is written in the first person, in present tense, as opposed to the first book that was written in third person and past tense.
And
So
did you find it harder going between the two, or was it an easy adjustment?
it was so easy. You know what? It somehow felt like this particular story was demanding to be written that way. So my first book was past tense, third person, and then the second book was also different in writing style, because the second book, it has every other chapter is a chapter from an old diary. Yeah, so we do get to dive into the first person again, but it's also past tense, yeah, because it's years long gone. So, but again, the writing style is very different. And with the third one, I kind of just felt like, no, this is happening now. And I have two main characters, and I have two of their POVs, and I'm going to be just writing from their point of view. And it just felt right. And it even came together much quicker, actually, than the first two. I don't remember now, like, the exact dates and everything, but I noticed that it was much quicker. And I'm saying that considering that I have very, very limited time. I have a toddler now, a super active one, he's 3.5. And you know what? Writing the first book when he was a baby was much easier. So because babies, they tend to sleep much more, and they don't go running around the house and trying to hurt themselves constantly, like 24/7, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm really, really restricted with my writing time. And still, the third book just came together real quick. And I don't know, I guess it was just meant to be.
So for those who can't quite see in the background, you have got up on the wall there the books. I'm assuming the third one is behind as well because we can't quite see that one. But the trilogy, the trilogy itself, by Elena, trilogy, which is the Dream Tamer Chronicles. Third one came out recently, as we said, which was the last in the series. And the first one followed the Hummingbird, and then it was the Blue Rabbit, I believe. And obviously the last one came out recently, which was it Follow the Dragonfly?
Oh, the Dragonfly.
Yes. So now that, as you said, you've got that feedback from the readers, that series has come to a close. Are you working on anything now? Is there a current work in progress, or are you taking a bit of time out to just get some feedback from the readers, relax, and then go again?
There's actually several works in progress that I have.
Good.
Yeah, there is a collection of short stories that I'm working on. I started that one actually very long time ago. Well, very long as in after I finished my my first book. You know, that period of time when you have to put it to the side for a while, yeah, before you go back and edit it, and then when you send it to the professional editor, and you still have that, you know, that period of time. And as I said, I'm unstoppable now. I can't stop writing. I have to be writing. So I had that idea of you know, writing a collection of short stories. It's also fantasy, and they're not related. They're separate short stories, but they kind of just all happen in the same place, in the same town. Yeah. So I even have the title. It's called The Town, and it's a bunch of different stories about different characters with like weird and wonderful magical things happening to them. So I started it like a couple years ago, and then I put it to the side because I started like editing and, you know, preparing my first book for launch, and then I was writing my second book, and then I was editing my second book. Now, when I finally finished the trilogy, I kind of went back into writing that again when I had a little bit of a break while my third book was being edited. And I came back and I started polishing up some of the stories that are already in there, and I started writing a new one. It's coming together slowly. I'm not promising anything because I'm also working on a co-writing project. I call it my secret project because I'm co-writing.
Ooh, secret.
And we've decided that we're not disclosing anything yet, but I can just say that it is an amazing experience to be writing something with someone. And it's mind-blowing so far. And I hopefully soon we will be able to share some more about that. But well, first of all, it's not just my project, you know, it's a joint project. And also considering how crazy life is, we are really taking our time because it's like, you know, I write a chapter and she writes a chapter. So we don't really know when, you know, what the timeline is, when we can expect to have it. So that's why we're not like really, you know, promising anything so far to our readers. But yeah, that's an amazing experience. So I'm working on that. I'm working on a collection of short stories. I'm working on a screenplay.
Ooh. Is that a husband and wife screenplay work, or is that just something that you inspired to him by him to do, or?
I was inspired because I read a lot of his screenplays, and I was like, this is so, it's like it's a totally different world, you know, from novel writing, and I was so fascinated, and I was like, I want to try. So I wrote a short one. Basically, I just adapted one of my short stories that I really enjoy writing short stories. I have a bunch of them. So I just took one of my short stories and I kind of adapted that into a screenplay just to get the feel, you know, of the formatting and the pacing and everything. And then I started working on the next one. And that stalled again because that was around the time when I got my manuscript back from the editor, and I had to do the, like, you know, the changes and the proofreads and everything. And then it was launch time. And well, you know how it goes. That's so much work. Like the last couple of months, I've been pretty much busy with everything, you know, like publishing and marketing related and launching the book. So I hope to get back into that point soon.
That sounds actually quite exciting. I don't think I've ever considered writing a screenplay personally, but now that you mention it, I love musicals, classic ones and the newer modern ones as well, a bit of a mix. And I'd love to write a musical one day. That is something that would be absolutely an original musical, maybe with like a classic song, a couple of classic songs thrown in there. So if there's anyone listening out there, let's get it on. Let's get a musical written. So I've never thought about it before, but yeah, now it's coming to me. I'm like, what songs could I write? I'm a terrible singer. Maybe I'll be a better songwriter. One of the other things I'd like to talk to you about then is dreams, books, and miracles. For those that don't know, you do have a podcast as well, which you've been doing now. It started this year, didn't it? There's quite a few episodes on there. I was having a look on podcast earlier. And again, like you, I'm a parent, 2 young children, unfortunately. And it does take up a lot of your time. So I really like listening to podcasts, and there's a few that I listen to just while I'm potting around the house, while I'm doing the dishes or taking the dogs out, etc. Picking up the kids' 1,000 toys that they've gotten out again. So podcasts are quite useful for me. I use podcasts the way a lot of people listen to audiobooks when they're around the house. I prefer to listen to podcasts and read books. So how did you come up for the idea with the podcast? Obviously, I host a couple of podcasts, and I really like podcasts. I think they're such a big market as well. So what got you into the idea of podcasting? Was did someone come to you with the idea, or did you just think I'd like to really speak to my audience and beyond, as it were? And are you enjoying the process?
I am. I haven't released anything in, I think, maybe a couple of weeks, but because I went even further, and I started a YouTube channel.
Yes, I saw. Yes, I saw that.
It's been a crazy year so far, and one of the main reasons, I'll be honest, one of the main reasons is that this year I decided to focus on personal growth, which means learning new things, and which means really pushing my boundaries and stepping out of my comfort zone. So when I started my podcast a couple of months ago, that was a big step out of my comfort zone for me, because I was, well, prior to that, I have a TikTok account, which is pretty much abandoned. I don't post much there. I never used to show up like on my videos, my TikToks, my reels, or talk. I'd put something together about my books or about writing or reading in general, but you wouldn't see my face a lot or hear me talk or something. And I was feeling really nervous about that and really conscious. So I'd say that I had two different motivations. First was I will push myself, and I will see if I can do that. And because I want to get rid of those fears, basically. And which I did, actually, surprisingly, pretty fast. The other one was that there's a lot I want to share. I've only been writing for 3 years, but it's been intense 3 years, and I've learned a lot. And I went from not knowing anything about writing to knowing a lot about writing and self-publishing and marketing. Well, a lot compared to what I knew before. Not saying that I know everything, of course, but I thought there are so many people out there that might be looking for motivation. They might be looking for inspiration. They might be looking for some advice. They might be looking for someone who can say, well, I've been through that just recently, and this is what I learned, and I'm sharing this with you. And I was hoping that I could actually encourage and motivate someone, because I think this is what something that makes me feel really amazing is when I get some feedback from my readers that they were somehow affected by my writing, touched emotionally, or when I get the feedback from those who listen to my podcast episodes, that they learn something, or they resonated somehow with me, because I keep them short and simple, and it's basically just my experience. I'm sharing my experiences and sharing some advice on how to start writing, how to form a writing habit, and like if you're a first-time writer and you're trying to choose the publishing route, like if you want to do self-publishing, if you want to do traditional publishing, just any advice that I can share, basically. So yeah, that was the idea behind the podcast. And then when I got more comfortable with it, after the first episode, actually, shortly after the first episode, I lost my voice, which hasn't happened to me in like, I don't know, 10, 20 years. Yeah, I didn't know if it was like some hint from the universe. It was some big joke, or I was like, why? I mean, I mustered up all my courage, yeah, and I released that podcast episode, and at first I wanted to run and hide, but no, I actually posted on all my social media, and I said, guys, I have a podcast now, come listen to it. And 2 or 3 days later, I just lose my voice. I don't know what it was. I still think it was purely psychological, but I get over it. I have like 10 or 11 episodes now, I think. And then I decided to take it a step further, and I decided to start a YouTube channel. Well, because somebody likes to be on Instagram, and scroll through photos and reels. Yeah. And somebody prefers listening to podcasts. Like you mentioned, I also absolutely enjoy listening to podcasts. Mostly they're a bit shorter, because I rarely have time, to listen to like an hour-long episode. I'll just pause it, and then I'll get like, wrapped up in things and never get back to it. Somebody prefers to watch. Somebody prefers to watch YouTube videos or shorts. So I was like, okay, yeah, maybe I'll find some audience there. And again, I will actually push my own boundaries and give it a try. So yeah, it's been a fun year so far.
And I can confirm as well, because I have one of them people that has a billion tabs open on my computer. Hate having any tabs on my phone, but always got things open on my computer. Books I'm working on, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, etc. So I can confirm, because as I was looking at your podcast, you have got 10 to 12 episodes, because you have 11 episodes currently published. So you do. See, spot on. So you know what you're talking about. You see, it's not a guess. She knew. So you say that you talk about obviously giving advice to people. And I think it's always nice to pay it forward. I used to do a segment on my YouTube channel, Pay It Forward, but it was just about like helping small businesses or people that have got an art or a craft or something, drawing, painting, etc. But it didn't really take with the audience, I think, because it was just small businesses from different parts of the UK, someone in Holland, someone here, someone in America. So it was more of a thing that would help locally if you want a local radio station or something, as opposed to YouTube. But yeah, I like to pay it forward. And I think that it's funny how you were saying there about sharing your experiences, and you've only been doing it for 3 years, but you learn so much. It's funny how there's so much to learn. You think about it, it's so strange. All you're doing is writing on a piece of paper or writing on a computer. You're just writing a book. What more could you need? You just need words, right? But there's so much to learn, from publishing routes to styles to perspective, like you're saying, first person, third person. Are you writing on your own? Are you collaborating? Are you doing art? There's so many different things that I think some people, not potentially people, so say my first book came out when I was about 33, 34-ish. Your first book came out, in your early 40s. So not maybe for us, but I think for younger people who are considering this as a career, I think it is something that you sort of pulled on something there that I thought would be good to address, is that there is so much to learn. It's not just as simple as having an amazing story. You're not just going to be the next J.K. Rowling, the next Stephen King, the next James Patterson, even if you've got the best story in the world. So there is so much to learn. So if you want to learn and, you don't want to hear from me, check out the podcast that the author has right here in front of us that she's talking about. And I will put all the links for that in the video. And go and find advice online, on YouTube, on Goodreads, wherever it is you want to look. Because I think there is so much to learn about the industry. and I've been in this, or attempting to be in this now, for about 4 or 5 years, and I think I've learned so much. And then someone asked me a question, I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Can you explain that to me? Because it's such a big area, especially nowadays with social media. It's not just, again, like writing, and you can get your book done, edited, book cover done, and published. Yeah, you're away, but then you've got to do the marketing. You've got to be on social media. You've got to make these connections. So I like social media, but I'm not great at it. So I don't use Twitter, Instagram, TikTok anywhere near as much as I should. I like to use YouTube, and I say I have a podcast, but it's not about writing. So did you find it easy doing the marketing side, or was it something that you had to learn at and keep going? Because I, for one, I'm glad I'm not alone then, by your face. I'm glad I'm not alone. I wouldn't say I struggled, but I thought like, oh, I've got it. Someone said use Instagram, easy. Oh, I know Twitter's where it's meant to be. Oh, apparently BookTok, use TikTok and BookTok, it's great. And I'm just like, whoa. So what platforms do you prefer to use to interact with readers, or to make posts about your books, etc.?
Wow, I think I've tried pretty much everything by now. No, I haven't learned marketing. I'll be honest. I'll be straight. I'm still learning. I'm still failing every day, constantly.
Hey, failing is just the first attempt at learning. Okay, so you've learned how not to do something. Now you hit the right note. It's fine. We all do it.
Yeah, marketing, especially when you're a new self-published author. Yeah, you don't have an audience. You don't have anything. It is hard. It's the worst. It's the hardest part of the whole, writing and self-publishing process.
Give me newborn babies any day. Give me babies again, as hard as it is. Give me babies over marketing a book. Honestly.
As far as the platforms go, I'm most active on Instagram and Twitter since recently. Now, I've been on Instagram for many years now. But it started off as my personal account. Then for like a decade, I used to make jewelry. I used to make gemstone and jewelry, handmade. And so I did have an Instagram, yeah, but it was like mostly about my jewelry, and it was very different. When I started writing, I found the writing community. I started following other people. I started making friends with other people. So it changed, yeah. So if you go on my Instagram and you see that I've been there for like over 10 years, and I have like some crazy thousands of posts. They're not all about writing. Writing and reading related is like the last 3 years. Yeah, if you scroll down to those posts, you'll probably see like all the pictures of necklaces and earrings and like pretty cats and flowers out there. Yeah, then I gave Twitter a try. I think it was last year, or even before that. No, that it was when I was about to release my first book. I gave Twitter a try, and I felt completely invisible there. And it was like I was screaming into the void, and I was like, okay, well, I've had enough. I can't, there's so much to juggle already. Yeah. And I can't waste my time, on this platform. And I kind of just left it for a year or two. Then last year, I really honestly don't know why, but I had this sudden urge to give Twitter a try again. And so I just went there and I started, I don't know, I just tweeted something random about writing, something like that. And then I kind of took off, and I started getting feedback, and I started engaging with people. And since then, I have met so many amazing people on Twitter, and there is such a wonderful, supportive community. Now, I really, really don't know how I missed that, the first time I went on there. But again, this is, I like to give advice, right? So this is also a piece of encouragement and advice. It doesn't work out from the beginning. Don't give up. Don't give up on it just yet, because look, I have, I think, over 7,000 followers now on Twitter. I have no idea how that happened. I have met some amazing people, and I've had some great support there. And I've also made writer friends, and I read their books. So I discovered new great authors and they read my books. And I don't know, it's just, I love it. Yeah, I love being on Twitter now. At the same time, Instagram has been a little bit disappointing in terms of engagement. I don't know. I think I'm really the algorithm gods of Instagram. They don't like me anymore for some reason.
I don't know how to work out the algorithms for social media, honestly. No idea.
I don't think anybody does, to be honest. It's
No,
just
not even the people that make videos on YouTube going, how to work out the algorithms. They don't even know. They're just reading off a piece of paper. They don't have a clue.
yeah. So I don't know. I think with Instagram it started like about a year ago, and it was like around Christmas time when I noticed that the views drop, the engagement drops, and everybody was like, it's temporary. It's like Christmas time. People are busy. Just wait a month, a year. It's been a year. I mean, still, sometimes I post something or like make a reel that resonates with people. I'm talking about, all the writing and reading related stuff. Yeah, sometimes it takes off, and I see that there are people there. Like I have over 3,500 followers, I think. Yeah. And then sometimes I'll post something about a book I read. Yeah, it's a great book, and I post a nice review, and it's like nobody sees it. And I'm like,
I hate that. I love doing book reviews, but no one reads them. No one, unless you're like Stephen King saying, oh, buy this book. No one cares. And I love it so much. I love doing book reviews, and I've actually got one going out in a couple of days' time. It's actually a children's book because my son loves it. It's like got a hand puppet in the actual book, and you can turn it. Oh, it's so cute. And yeah, no one reads them, and I'm just like, oh, why? Go read this book. Give this book to your kids. They're so like, but yeah, and it's one of my favorite things to do, but no one cares. But I still do them anyway. But yeah,
yeah,
no.
I think that's actually the trick. That's
Mm.
the trick on social media. That's the trick on YouTube, because we don't consider YouTube as social media, right? Just have to enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah.
Just have to enjoy it and stop depending on those laws of algorithm, because you can predict anything, you can't change anything. All you can do, I think, is you can be yourself, and you can produce the content that you think has some value. Yeah. And that is going to resonate with people. Maybe it won't be 1,000 people, maybe it will be a handful of people, but maybe you will actually make some change, for those handful of people. And I think that's already a win, right?
Yeah. I agree. If you're not enjoying it, like I enjoy making the content ever since I started a YouTube channel, but I didn't seem to get any interactions. I didn't seem to get any follows. So after a while, after really thinking, oh, I just decided, like, as long as I'm having fun, if I get one, I would rather get like, say, 10 people watch a video but they really enjoy it than get hundreds or millions, like Mr. Beast does, millions of people that are just watching it and just clicking off, like they don't care. Because that's how you inspire more people to get involved, and that's what I would like to do. Like I'm very lucky. My wife was like your husband. My wife was very supportive with my writing career. I worked in sales, and I was not thinking about being an author, but I used to really enjoy writing stories and little lyrics and stuff. And I had this idea for a story that I sort of did when I was younger, and I just went from there. But if it wasn't for my wife pushing me and pushing me and pushing me to do it, I probably wouldn't have released any of the books that I've done, or any of the ones I'm working on. So I think you just have to enjoy it, and you need that support, and you need someone to tell you, like, stop being silly. You want to do this, just do this. Like, see, I'd like to pay it forward. Like, my wife's helped me, and I think if I can give any advice to anyone, I'm just paying it forward. My wife encouraged me, and I'm encouraging someone else. So yeah, keep it going, because the more writers in the world, the better. Like, I go into charity shops almost every day, and I'm always picking up. I bought another book today. Oh my God, my wife's going to kill me. I bought another book today that I won't get to read for about another 2 months, because I've got about 15 books now. I got it down. I had a massive pile, got it down to about 10, and now it's gone back up again. Of books to read, not to mention rereading my book while I'm editing it. So it is absolutely crazy. But is there any last thoughts, anything you'd like to pass on to the viewers out there, other than read your books?
Well, if we have any writers or wannabe writers, they're watching us right now, I would say it is amazing to have this support. Like I was blessed, lucky to have the support and encouragement. As I see you were also, and I'm really happy for you.
Very lucky I was, yes.
Because I interact a lot with other writers, and I know that not everyone is so lucky. Not everyone has the support and encouragement, and sometimes people even they face a lot of discouragement from the people that surround them. Well, even to the point when they're told to, well, get another hobby, or like get a real job.
Yeah, oh, I hate that phrase. Get a real job. It's the worst phrase in history.
Terrible. And it's very important to not give up. Yeah, it's very important to you, whether you have support and encouragement or not, or belief from someone. You have to believe in yourself. It's very important. If you want to go down this path, you go. You take the first step and you stay on it, and you go. You got this. Yeah. If you really believe in yourself, everything is doable. It is not going to be easy. I'm not going to lie. There is, like you said, absolutely, there's so much to learn. And this learning, it never stops. It never stops.
No, it does not.
That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. That's the fun of it, because we're on a journey. We're on an adventure, and just enjoy the ride. Yeah, it's a wild one, but still,
That's perfect. Enjoy the ride, because I feel like being a writer is the biggest and longest roller coaster there is. It just goes all over the place, and you never know what's coming from one day. Editing, social media, marketing, it's just all over the place. But yeah, that's fantastic. Never give up, no matter what you do. The thing is, being a writer, you don't need loads of equipment. It's not like you're being a sports person or some technical thing. You just need pencil and a paper. That's literally it. You can get them from so cheap anywhere. So it's so easy to start. So thank you for coming on today. And again, I'll put all the links to her podcast, to her, where you can buy her book, her social medias on the thing. So go and follow her. If you love fantasy books, I'm sure you will love the work she's got and what's coming out, her secret project in the future as well. So thank you for coming on today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.